Good afternoon, each and every one of you out there, and thank you for tuning in to the Rhoda Young Live Show. We have Shauna C here with us, tuning in, guys from out of town to take and share her story and what she's going through and what she's been challenged with, and how once again the state has kidnapped someone's child. She chose to use the word kidnap, and I asked her, why do you choose to use the word kidnap? And she gave me a really good reason why she chose to use the word kidnap, and how the state in Boston came in without the proper paperwork and stuff and took her child from her. She said she was in a hotel staying there for a couple of nights with her kids, and things went on and she was set up. Guys, she know more about this story than I do. But we like to thank each and every last one of you guys for tuning in to the Road to Young Live talk show. If you have a story out there that no one will cover and you want it to be heard, contact me, Rhoda Young TV at gmail.com. Once again, you're not alone. If you have a story out there that you need a voice and a platform, contact me, Rhoda Young Live TV at gmail.com. That's Rhoda Young TV at gmail.com. Shauna Steve, hi, and welcome to the
Hi.
show. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes. Pleasure to meet you also.
Can you tell me why you decided to contact the Rhoda Young TV show?
It's been a very tumultuous 3 months contacting various people. I've contacted the governor, the lieutenant governor, the mayor of Boston. It's just been endless people I've been counting and feel like I'm not uh, getting exactly what I need to resolve the matter of safely returning my child to me that was illegally abducted.
Wow. Can you tell us the name of your child and his age?
Jaguar is 10 years old and he's special needs and legally deaf.
Wow. So I'm gonna let you take the platform. You speak well. You have a platform of your own. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the floor and just share your story here on the Road to Your Live TV show.
Uh, yes, I have an archive platform, but what has happened to me, this is, I'm going to start off with the prime of what's going on and what I need action on. I'm not being given any judge signed documents. The judge was Helen Brown Bryant of Boston Juvenile Court, which is in Edward Brook Courthouse, which is in the Haymarket area of Boston. When my child was taken on Wednesday, March 24th, within 72 hours, you're supposed to be being spoke to your child and have a hearing. I had a hearing date. I didn't even know about it till late Friday evening. I had a horrible court-appointed Dorchester attorney, Attorney Long. Uh, and from Friday evening, Monday morning was when I was calling back and forth. That day when I went to court,
Do you
Louisiana
mind
is
if I
the
stop you? Do you mind if
yes,
I stop you there? Can you
yes.
first explain to us why was your child taken from you, and how did they get custody of your child?
Going through the system of what I'm going to be speaking about, cross-referencing the identity theft and human trafficking. So what it does, it has you in the midst of when your housing is tied up. You can be from place to place, or in the process, your paperwork will be sent here, or you have to, have available housing in various places. I was the vehicle I was in, it was not working well, and I stopped in the Boston area to temporarily get services because I had not had housing for a few days. And I went to the DCS office. I was told that you get housing. I was referred to go to the hospital, to Boston Medical Center, which is ran by Kate and Jimmy Walsh. And that was a setup because you can't expect a 10-year-old special needs, legally deaf, autistic child to keep still. And so
Right.
he's going into hospital. He's not going to keep still. He's going to he has to be in a settled environment, and it takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of energy. It's just not something like you could just bring a child into a place and just they're going to be perfectly still. So that's what started up and led to the series of events of my child being illegally abducted.
I want to make sure we all have clear understanding, so I might interject when I feel as though we are wavering a little bit. So you say you was traveling, you had a car that wasn't working as well, and you stopped into Boston, Massachusetts.
Yes,
How did you end up there permanent then?
I with my I had to attend the transactions with my between multiple states of my housing, and people say it's easy to do over the phone, but it's not. With the housing, my housing was in the state of Maine, but another state had my housing tied up. So that would tie things up. They wasn't answering the phone. They wasn't replying to the emails. It was totally being ignored. So I had to go directly in, and I had appointments scheduled with advocates throughout the region to assist me with obtaining my housing back in that area. And so
Okay.
then it had me tied up with a place to stay.
Okay, so we take you back to the hospital. We want to stay with you. So we're in the hospital. Your son is has a disability and he won't stay calm, and that's normal for a child that has a disability. So how did that come into a play with him being taken away from you? Explain that to us.
The notes being taken of him not keeping still, primarily.
Okay.
He likes to, go into stuff and take stuff apart, and it takes a lot to, just go behind him every little thing. And that, of course, got recorded. But he was supposed to be going into their autism program, which mysteriously got canceled the next day when I went for the appointment, and they put it as though I wasn't attending to appointments and that I didn't want to get no care for my child, which they have part of their records.
Wow. So now you take us up to the day in the hotel when they came to your room, and then legally the word you choose to use is kidnap your son. Can you take us there?
I had just left the hospital, and my child's discharge records does show that my child left in a well condition, a stable condition to go out into public. I go back to the room. I was supposed to be having another service assist me, and I was under the impression that they was the ones to be contacting to come actually bring me to their housing. But actually, it was a false. They forced entry themselves up to the hotel where I was at. Uh, and that's where she asked me the questions to obtain the social security number and the birth information. And I told her, I said, well, I wouldn't speak to you without legal representation. That's where she had about a dozen police officers come to the room uh, with the claim of barricading in the room with the child with threat of endangerment. But the paper that she gave me has the word neglect on it. But how can I neglect a child that I'm with, that you kidnapped from me with me?
So you're in your hotel room and they come to your room and they want to speak to you. All of a sudden, this lady alleges that you have your son and yourself barricaded inside the hotel room
Yes.
just because you wanted proper legal um representation with you when you were speaking with Child Protective Services and the people that was at your hotel room.
Yes.
Did they ever tell you why they came to your hotel room on that day?
Well, actually, before I left the hospital, there was the DCF workers, and they was intentionally taunting my child and doing things to trigger him off more so, insisting that I speak on the phone with Bianca and answer what she want me to answer. And I believe there was a conflict within the hospital of what was going on. Uh, when this here happened, uh, like I said, they had this one social worker that put in the report. He used different names there. So what I was told, uh, like I said, it just suddenly happened. The time frame from when I left the hospital till I got to the hotel room, so it's approximately about a 2 hour difference.
So we're with you now. So we get it. So whatever the day that you went to the hospital was the same day they came to your hotel room and took your child from you.
I actually went 3 days in a row. They had this was part of the process when you go to the DCS, referred me over to the hospital.
Hmm.
And they had me go 3 days in a row as part of to get services for being homeless to get housed.
Oh, so you had to go there 3 days in a row to get for you can get the proper housing.
Yes. Okay. I have a advocate, Aaliyah. She would like to. She's been a supporter.
What we
You can just
doing
turn
here?
your camera on her for 1 second if you can by
Oh,
herself. Hi,
hi.
hi, Aaliyah.
My, how you doing, Rhoda Young? My name is Aaliyah RN, and actually, I 12 years ago was in a situation, and this camera is off. Hold on.
Yeah,
12
they,
years ago, I was in this situation. Sorry, hold on. Um, it's so funny. Hey, let's get this camera straight. Okay.
yeah, it worked. The
So,
app worked funny. So just put it directly on you and nobody else at the moment. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
just
12 years.
directly on you.
Okay. So 12 years ago, I was in this situation. Let me keep it real. I was on my way to go hang out with Pastor Jamal Bryant, who was with Donald Trump at the time. And I got a call from CP. I'm a registered nurse. I do community programs from since 1996. Most of the politicians in New York know me. And from mayors to governors to city council, assembly, all the senators, public advocates. They know me on a first name basis. The DAs, I used to do campaigning and all that for them or whatsoever. I know them personally, a lot of them. So anyway, I'm on my way to this event to go hang out, and I get a call from ACS, which is New York City CPS, that they've taken my children. And I'm
Wow.
like, for what? And they had invented some poisoning. Like I had poisoned my child. At the time, my child was with the dad for a couple of days. I'm a registered nurse. I do 12-hour shifts. He was not working, as that's one of the reasons why I left for years. And um, while I was on my way, I was at an event this time. My son had been with his dad. It was perfectly okay, I thought. So when they told me he was poisoned, I'm like, oh my God, my child has been poisoned. I canceled my en route. I'm like, yo, I can't come. I didn't tell them why I couldn't come. I was like, I have some trauma going on. I heard
Right.
something happened to my child. Come to find out it was all fake and all false.
Well,
Okay, so then,
who made up those fake allegations that you on your kids was poisoned?
but, but, okay. The later, like 2 years later, I found out that the grandmother had did it. But in
Oh,
the event, nothing was wrong with my child. They stole they at the time I had two children under 18. One of my children was 19. They stole both of my children with these fake allegations, but nothing was wrong with the children. So I'm
now
like,
how
how
old was
could you
the?
even?
What was the ages of the kids when they stole them?
Okay, so they said the baby at the time was like one going on two. They said the baby was poisoned. But I had broken up with the father, so the grandmother was putting in fake CPS reports. But just with observation and just, okay, if I say you poisoned your child, where's the police report? You have something called constitutional rights, you have due process. I ended up filing a lawsuit, Holland versus Morgenstern, because the judge was involved. I just want to say this is a new slave trade. Okay, so then I wrote a book called A Little Lynch, Amber
But
Alert, A
we're
Judge
not.
Ordered Kidnapping.
We spoke earlier about promotion on the page. So we're gonna just
Okay,
kind of
yeah,
yeah.
right. So anyway, when I wrote this book, we don't have to mention the book, but when I wrote this book, I had over 11,000 mothers reach out to me like, this is happening to me. We Harvard graduates. Some of my mothers is millionaires. Um, Nurses, doctors, teachers, police officers, lawyers. And it's a new slave trade going on in family court. I'm actually writing another book. I'm not going to mention it. But it's a new slave trade, and they setting us up to steal our children without due process, without criminal charges. That's the and I want to make a point. That's the same way they stole little Devontae Free Hugs kid and his siblings. Because when I got into these courts and now I'm advocating for these mothers, there's millions, okay, millions of white fathers that rape their children, that use drugs, and have custody and sole custody transferred to them, and this is documented. They're creating a criminal enterprise where they don't want to register these sexual deviant white men on the FBI. It's called crime. It's called crime numbers game. They don't want to register these sexual deviant, suicidal, homicidal white men on the FBI registries. And when
A lot of my viewers right now saying they're confused. They're saying you done jumped off topic and they need to know what's going on because too much been cramped in at one time.
okay,
So they want to see, can they
they
say,
have the systems is setting mothers up to steal their children.
and
That's
what is
point blank as it.
how are
And
they
it's
setting? How is the system setting the mothers up for their kids can be stolen, for other mothers out here can be aware of what's going on and they won't fall victim to the system as well?
Okay, well, the way that what I was speaking about was cross-referencing with the topic of human trafficking and identity theft. That is by asking when you register your child for school, when you go apply, it could be some minute services, the popular name companies that you register for Christmas gifts. They
wait,
ask for
let me.
vaccination records,
Mhm.
Social Security cards, and birth certificates. People need to start registering their children with birth certificates, Social Security cards, and even the vaccine records when they go apply for Christmas gifts, applying for like the food items and the food be stale. And
No, let me finish this part that she had asked me.
all right.
Okay. So from my experience, because they're bringing, it's a secret environment. They're bringing us with sealed cases. They're bringing, okay, so it's actually I'm writing a new book. It's actually a form of trauma bonding. They're putting these children through so much tumultuous amount of trauma, and
Mm-hmm.
childhood trauma lasts as a lifetime. You could damage a child for one day, and a child being raped or touched, and it could last a lifetime. From
Right.
what I'm seeing in over the 11,000 cases, and it's millions, they're just setting mothers up to steal their children with no criminal charges, whatever they. Okay, so if you homeschool, for instance,
Right.
if you homeschool, your children could be taken away from you and arrested. And fake is family court, which is a civil court. So you're
So
not
you
really
saying
arrested for.
now you're saying if you homeschool your kids, your kids can be
What's that?
taken away from you?
If you
Yeah.
homeschool, I have numerous. Okay, it's something called free range parenting. If you let your children play outside and you're not sitting there with them, and they could file a CPS report and steal your children. If your children is truant, that Kamala Harris bill that she put into effect. If your children miss 10 days of school, even if they're in a hospital, I have a couple of parents, children have cancer, children have all types of serious medical conditions. They'll put a CPS report out on you, and you could lose your children. All of these, but without criminal charges. It's something called due process in America. It's something called constitutional rights, penal codes, and stuff like that. These are judges that if you use drugs, okay, if you smoke marijuana, they could take your children. But I'd have like most of the cases that I handle, the moms are white, and the who they giving the children to, they use drugs, they're sexual deviants, so they're taking your children away from you and they giving them to rapists, abusers, people that's in porn. It's crazy. It's
Right.
crazy. It's a lot of reasons
So
why
can
they
we get
steal the
back to the
children.
subject?
Medical kidnapping. They don't if you don't do vaccines, or if they feel you're not giving your child the services. Okay, one girl, they took her children because she wanted a
Can
second
we get
opinion and
back
they
to
wanted to get
why they took
chemo.
your children? Can we get back to why they took your children? Because we stopped
At the
at one of
time,
your
mine.
Yeah, we stopped when you told us one of your kids was 2 years old, and that was it. And we didn't get to finish hearing the rest.
They invented a case that said I poisoned my child. Like I poisoned the child and the child was poisoned. But at the time, the grandmother on the paternal side had the child and she made the report. But when they went to see the child, they could clearly see no child was poisoned, no child was sick or anything. So they continue to, the more you fight back against them, the more they fight back against you. And they have $1 billion budget. I ended up getting my children back at that time, but then they put me in front of the high priestess judge. She known for, her name is Esther Morgenstern. I have about 1,000 judges that when they take the children end up in like trafficking. They
So
end
what
up
they
in
so
porn.
what do they who do they get the kids to once they traffic these kids?
Okay. In many cases that I'm dealing with right now, the father is a sexual deviant. He may be into like porn. Okay, I'm gonna give you a great example. Recently, an NYPD officer murdered his son. His name is Michael Valva. Michael Valva. He murdered his son, Thomas Valva. The mother, Justine, came to me 5 days before they murdered the child. But because he was an NYPD officer, they have this secret arrangements in the court. He was running a child porn ring, which she had disclosed to us before the child had been
Is
murdered.
that
But
allegedly or is that proven in court?
no, mm-mm. She had the
Is that proven
receipts.
in court?
Now it's coming out. It's not alleged now. Okay, according
Is
to
it proven in
we
court?
could say allegedly, but it's true. It's
Okay.
she has the news has covered, some news stations has covered the pornography part and having him in the it was 3 boys, one died, having them in these crazy underground dark web child porn rings. He was getting big deposits into his account.
Do you
The
mind
children
if I
spoke.
tell you what, if you can look on Facebook right here about 4 messages up? Facebook is alleging that you sound delusional.
It's okay for them to say that because I have another book that's coming out and it kind of break it all down. It sounds crazy. It took me 4 years to believe this type of stuff was going on. When I found out this stuff was going on, I couldn't stop crying for like 4 hours. I was
Wow.
actually I was on a call with another woman that do a show like this, and when we realize what is really going on behind the scenes, it sounds delusional, but when Free Hugs kid end up dead, Michael Thomas Valva end up dead, a lot of children that ended up dead is not making the news either. And they was
Someone
taking
says also up here they want to hear more about Jaguar. Can they hear back from Jaguar
yeah,
mother?
you can
Do they
hear
want to
back.
hear?
Yeah, yeah, but it's a kidnapping ring, like a Jeff Epstein kidnapping ring controlled by judges and CPS operating out of family courts. And that's the next book that coming. So you'll educate yourself. Intelligent people will educate themselves so they won't think that something
Thank
sounds
you.
delusional. Thank you.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
thank you for advertising your book. Uh, if you want to advertise, let her know she want to advertise. Like I told y'all before about advertisement, we do have a fee for advertisement on the platform, and if she would like to advertise, she can contact my manager at rotayoungtv@gmail.com. Back to Jaguar. They want to know more about him, and they're very concerned. Reading the comments, they were very interested in the story, and they want to know what happened to Jaguar.
Jaguar was illegally abducted at 811 Massachusetts Avenue, the hotel that was set up by Boston Medical Center, which is ran by Kate and Jimmy Walsh, which is also have a legislation where they want to make it to where health providers are not liable because of COVID if they do you anything, any negligence. This is that hospital that I found out after the fact of what happened to me and the research. Uh, that's so right now the current information is that he has been transferred to another facility as of last week. As of the and I definitely will get back to you. You know, we definitely will go on after I tell about how I could be helped.
Right.
By saying last week, as of last week, the update I have, he has changed several social workers. He was in a facility, the Boston Star program. Uh, I have the hashtag Return Jaguar on the social medias for information about the matter.
They want to know
So
what was the
definitely, that's
reason.
where
What was the reason they took Jaguar? No one ever gave us a reason why they took Jaguar.
that. Okay, when they took when he was kidnapped or illegally abducted, I was given the paper that said neglect. What I spoke earlier from the beginning of the conversation, which definitely can be heard in the replay, I said, how can I neglect a child that you kidnapped right from me while a child was with me? That's what is on the paperwork with the signature for when she recalled as an emergency filing. The word
They,
neglect. That's it. No details or anything.
so they said you neglected him and you hit him at the hospital, but you yet neglected him. And they came to your home to take
I
him
was
from
given
you.
that paperwork. It started from the hospital. See, the hospital was the starting point, but the actual abduction happened around the street at 811 Massachusetts Hotel in Boston. That's where he actually was abducted at. That's where I met the social workers, Rogetta S. Evans and John Peterkin. That's along with a dozen police officers. And I was given that paperwork. Then, and all that's written on that paperwork is the word neglect and my
Can we
name and
ask
by your
you,
mother.
how long have the state had your child since the day he was taken?
My child was taken in the evening, approximately at or on 7, between 5 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, March 24th,
2020 or 2021?
2021.
Okay.
Yes.
What have they been keeping him at? Is he in foster care or is he still inside of child protective services just randomly somewhere?
I have vague emails I've been requesting every day, multiple times to the courthouse, Edward Brook Courthouse, Boston Juvenile Court, which is in the Haymarket area of Boston. My email has been rejected, which I found out like weeks after sending emails every day. It's a whole bunch in the spam box, and it has that my email has been rejected.
So have you been able to physically see your son since March 2021?
I have not been able to see my child since he was abducted on March 21st, 2021, that Wednesday. I had a video conference approximately 2 weeks ago. Uh, and I get a notice, and it wasn't from the DCF worker. It was from the facility where my child was that told me that said that my child was transferred. The DCF worker is still she wants to collect social security card, birth certificate, when the judge already ruled on March 29th that my child is not jurisdiction in the state of Massachusetts. Louisiana said they don't want to pursue anything with me. They don't want the child, and they're not going to open a case on me. So my child's supposed to be returned to me on April 5th. Hmm? Yeah, my child's supposed to be returned to me on April 5th. So this is a illegal kidnapping. I was even told on my last conference call that they told me, they said, well, we give you the judge signed documents. Shauna Sands Pardoma is her name. She said she stays in Braintree. She said, if we give you the judge signed documents, will you give us the documents that we asking for, a social security card and birth certificate of your child?
Why is it so important
They
that they get
illegally
this?
ran a
So,
credit report on me also.
excuse me. Why is it so important that they get the birth certificate and the social security card of your child?
As I was speaking earlier, this is part of like peasants insurance to part of it to do with my child's estate if they ran a background check on me and the information they additionally find out. So it's deeper than the rabbit hole or what a common person would be able to find unless they have access to deeper systems and the secret society. Life insurance, to steal the children's estate, and also with my child being disabled, you get extra points for my child.
You allege that you supposed got your child supposed to be returned to you on April the 5th. Do you have your child?
No, I do not have my child, and I'm being refused the documents, and I was kept out of that court date intentionally. And also, the court-appointed attorney is part of this child trafficking. Also, what occurred to me.
Did they give you any reason why your child was not returned to you on April the 5th?
They say that they just keep replying vocally and very vague in email that they have custody of my child, but refuse to show the judge signed documents. And even on the last conference call, when I said that I was going to record them, she got there and she screamed, "No, you can't. You do not have permission to record me." Shauna Sands Perdomo.
Do you have more than one child?
I just have one child.
Okay. Have you been formally charged with child abuse or child neglect on that child?
I don't have a formal charge outside of what was given to me when my child was taken of neglect. And I've had the homeschooling reports with me homeschooling my child. So, but that stuff is dismissed and already resolved.
Question again. Have you been formally charged with neglection of your child?
Never,
Wow.
never.
So what is the reason, if you have not been formally charged with child neglect, what would be the reason for them to be holding your child with neglect if you have not been formally charged?
There is no legal reason. So there have to be a legal motive and intentions of them that has to
Right.
be rated and identified.
Right. So right now you don't know the safety nor the health of your child at this moment because you have not seen him since 7 p.m. March 21st, Wednesday of this year. You don't know the
I've
health
only
or the
vaguely
condition.
had three. I've only had three video conference calls, approximately three video calls since that date of my child. So I know that my child was bruised. I have pictures when my child hair was yanked out. His eyes was bruised. He got there and signed to me that he had been, somebody had pointed him in the eye. He did sign that to me on the conference call, and his hair yanked out. He showed that to me. My child was never unkept. You couldn't even tell what grain of hair my child had. The way his hair now, it is very dehydrated looking, patches of hair missing and all matted up. My child was never kept. That anyone that knows me across this nation, I've really been across this nation, they know my child has never been unkept, and my child has never been out of my care besides with his God family that kept him from, from young newborn.
Do you have the
Nobody
pictures
else
that we
has
can
kept
see?
him overnight.
Do you have the
Huh?
pictures that we can see? The bruises?
I have it in another thing I have, my devices keep clocking out. Oddly, my devices keep getting tapped. People say, well, I call you, I can't get a hold of you. So my phone has every device I get gets tapped. I'm already borrowing someone's device now, and like I say, it things oddly start happening. Things nobody could hear me. It's I'm not able to keep up with the devices, so I'm doing the best I could. The pictures I have, they're in the devices that I can't even access right now. But I
Okay.
definitely have the blog, the link I gave you on the blog. That link has the video activity of my child at the Strawberry Festival. That's the activity we did. So if they go through that channel, they'll be able to see the pictures. And I definitely, when I have more access to updated pictures, I definitely will upload it.
I did see you guys at the strawberry field, and I watched the video. You have a very great relationship with your son. You was teaching him how to pick strawberries. You was asking the public, if you live somewhere where they have a farm, it's a good place to come out your house and take your kids and interact with your children. You was teaching him how to pick the proper strawberries and which one to pick and which one not to pick. I seen that y'all relationship on the day was really well. He looked to be in great health and also great spirit. I don't know what happened that day at the hospital and why they decided to take your son that's autistic and have a disability away from you because he wouldn't sit down that day in the hospital and charge you with child neglect, but yet they have not formally charged you, but yet they took your child from you. How do that make you feel as a woman that the state at any given time can allege that your child was being mistreated, and you know your child was not mistreated, and come in and take your child as if he's a piece of state property? How did that make you feel as a mother?
I'm beyond horrified. And when I mean beyond horrified, if you can't help, build, and support a person, you shouldn't hurt them. And if they were not able to properly, provide the services what I did apply for, why get there and falsely or lie? Let me use the word layman, lie, and say that I'm always denying services. And this is the reason why parents deny services. This is the reason why people may judge someone because they may not go in for prenatal care, or they may self-treat their children. This is, like I said, this here is just a setup. It's a catch-22. You're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't.
Yes, ma'am. What would it be? Because I know the state of Boston is going to be watching this, because I will be tagging the mayor and people in this report. What is it that you want them to know about what happened to you, and also what's continuing to happen to your son by he been illegally snatched out of his mother's arm?
This included police misconduct of Harrison Station, Boston Police Department, Rosetta S. Evans, John Peterkin. She's a very unkept woman, and she even have an odor that smells enough for you to say she has an odor, and that's not good for someone that's supposed to be judging somebody about their services. Uh, these parties here, they all need to be persecuted. I've even reached out to the mayor, Kim Janey. I reached out to the governor, the lieutenant governor. I reached out to multiple parties. I'm attempting to reach out to Rochelle Rollins. I haven't reached out to her yet, due to the tedious task that I have to do. Everything requires details, and you have to wait on hold so long. People don't want to take your message because they're scared. Nobody can get the documents. I need an expertise attorney that's going to go in and not tell me, well, I first need you to sign that you're my client, and then I go get the documents for you. No, I need to, because it's done and in case. If you get the documents, the signed order documents that show that my child's returning me to April 5th, that's a quicker case than me signing on. And I don't know whether this attorney is part of their trafficking ring. I need
Someone
paralegals.
someone has a question for you here from the studio audience. They said you allege that ladies stink. They want to know, what do she smell like?
Oh my goodness. It's horrible. It's like a urine and sugar scent. But if you could tell it on a woman, and it, briefly being around it was my first time, and her hair looks very matted up.
Oh
Like
my
her hair, like the way my child hair looks now on the video, she came when she had kidnapped my child. She was looking like that.
Wow. Wow. They say thank you for the definition of the smell. They say you allege that she smells sweet and sour, and we don't
Sweet
want to
and
get
urine.
sweet and
Urine.
urine. Okay, so they say the piss smells sour. So sweet and urine, guys, not sour. And they say thank you for they can stay away from her. Attention, everybody in Boston. Attention, people in Boston, Massachusetts. Allegedly, is a lady there at the CPS somewhere with the courts smelling like sugar and urine. If you see her, please apply your mask. For you would not. Okay, but back to the story. We're really sorry that this happened to you and also your son, and we really appreciate you for coming out here sharing your story. We spoke earlier about what you're looking for is you have all the proper documentations that you need, but you need someone that know how to write it up for you. And you're doing an all call for someone that's out there as a paralegal, maybe a lawyer, somebody that works with the courts that can come in and assist you with writing down your information properly to provide it to the courts so they will pay attention to your case more thoroughly. Am I correct?
I want to do that along with this bar, these attorneys that false pretense represent themselves, along with all the social workers for this to be filed against their license. So I definitely need assistance with all that. Um, you know, definitely in the Massachusetts area, but it doesn't matter where you're from because you may know someone in the Massachusetts area. You may have, interest in pursuing, a production or project there. So I'm definitely those that's genuine for reaching out to me.
Thank you. Is there anything else you would like to speak on while we're here before we go?
I believe I know. Is there anyone want me to speak further about the birth certificate, social security cards, the
Yes, you can
pension
speak a little bit more
insurance?
about that because then we're gonna want to speak right back with the young lady, the RN, before we go as well.
I want to speak. I am telling you all, there needs to be a big protest. We don't have time to be protesting over. I'm sure it could come common sense about silly matters. Uh, when you're arresting your children for school, we have to fight heavy. We can't, fool around there and be fussing about, don't do this, don't do that. We need to defend the people that's losing their children and that's being violated and attacked for not vaccinating their children, for homeschooling their children, for when they register their children in these schools, or if they need food programs, housing programs, and which I'm going to speak about the identity theft as I continue this sentence on. That's how I'm going to speak about speak about the identity theft.
If they
We
would
need to
like to
get
continue to follow, because I'm running out of time here on my podcast.
okay.
If they want to continue to follow you, what can they follow you at to follow this story?
It's on IG at Eradicate Deep Swamp. Eradicate ERADICAT Deep DEEP Swamp SWAMP hashtag Return Jaguar.
Thank you for that. Can we speak back with the RN before we go?
All right. Okay. Let me see.
So she's gone. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Rhoda Young Live Talk Show. If there's anyone out there have a story, fiction or nonfiction, and you wanted to be heard and broadcast it with me. I'm Rhoda Young Live, and you can email me at rhodayoungtv@gmail.com. Once again, if you have a story that you'd like to be heard and you need a podcast or a platform to do it in, contact me at rhodayoungtv@gmail.com.
Do y'all have a minute? Y'all wanted to?
Okay,
She's coming. Just
okay,
1 minute.
okay, that's fine. Once again, guys, whatever the story is, if you have a complaint about a business, if you want to just make up a story, if you want to come share a story, you're more than welcome to share it on my platform where I have the time of the day to sit down and relax and speak with you of what's really going on in your life. Once again, share your story with Rhoda Young TV at gmail.com. And thank you. Welcome back, beautiful.
The family coming for me?
No, we just wanted to make sure we got her story out, and we want to make sure we give you an opportunity to get some things off your chest while we're here as well. Is there anything else you would like to address while we're here?
Um, if if you having your children um illegally, messed with by CPS and family court, you can reach out to me. On IG, I'm Aaliyah RN. I'm Aaliyah RN everywhere.
All right.
And it's nothing I really want to get off my chest. I didn't mention the names of my books after you said that. I respect your platform, and I am, because people don't understand this. I was trained to trust this system. I trusted it as well. I've been an RN for 25 years. We deal, very closely with the CPS and the police and everything. And unfortunately, like I said, these are the people, they have, it's really horrible what's going on in there. And I want people to investigate besides calling someone delusional. Because if you would have told me this 10 years ago, I would have said you was delusional too.
Right, just like that.
Yeah, I would have said you make no sense. What did you do? Because I have said that even while I was going through my own. I run a Hill Network Center. I take care of thousands of children in New York for free. And I have spread recently to Georgia right before COVID hit. And right now, she's at a healing retreat with me to bring mothers. That's where she's at, to bring mothers, to help them cope, to help them support systems. We support them financially. We support them in every which way because the system will have you thinking um, that it's trustworthy. And it's a lot of, most of the people that run these systems are foxes in the hen house. And they
Did you ever
keep,
get your kids back?
I did, of course. I,
How,
I'm still trying to figure out why is this, okay. Okay, here we
no,
go.
this let me
Oh,
tell you something about this app. This app, it make everything look backwards. You notice that too. It make
yeah,
it look backwards. I don't know why
it,
this
it
app is
was.
like that.
Well, I kind of got it now. I got my children back. And since I got my children back, I still help moms fight for their children because it's still ongoing. It's a new slave trade by a different name and a different game. Because I said it's different rules. It's different rules in there. Because I have cases where a lot of I'm talking about a lot of white men that rape children and are on drugs have sole custody of their children. But if a black mom is smoking a bag of weed, she gets all her rights severed for her life, even if she's smoking crack. Now, let's keep it real. My mom was on crack, and I would have never wanted to be taken away from my mother. Yes, my grandmothers and my aunts stepped in, but they are like, I kind of bring it up again with the Devontae Hart story. They took that child from his mother, and he had a bloodline. He had aunts, he had uncles. Why would you put him with two white women? Okay, first of all, in the current environment that we are in these last 50 years.
How long did
So
they keep your kids in the system when they took yours?
when it was like 2 days.
Okay, so they
And
didn't keep
and
long.
they stole my children from me and they placed them immediately with family members. My uncles that was in like their 70s, and my uncle and my aunt lived together. So they put them with my uncle and my aunt that was in their 70s till they investigated. But like I said, they stole my children with no hospital report, with no police report. It was just, okay, I'm mad at you, Rhoda. I'm going to say you poisoned your kids. Your children going to be taken away from you. And then you have to go through all these hearings and stuff. At the
Right.
time, I'm
So it's
running,
basically like you guilty until proven innocent, not innocent until proven guilty.
but it's a setup. It's all intentional. Once they get your name in that system, through any of the different ways and its numerous ways, they coming for you. They coming, it's all part of the game. Once you get in that system, it's hard to get out.
Can
And
you end?
I got out to me because I'm vocal
Right.
and because I'm a child of God. You're not going to steal my children. I'm not no slave. And that all these people, okay, like the social workers and stuff, a lot of them are black, but the judges and all these white people and white lawyers and white directors and white managers that they working for to steal our children. You're not going to steal my children. You're not going to steal my black sisters' children. You're not going to steal people in or any a black person in these 50 states children as long as I'm alive on this earth.
Can you
You're
end
not
this?
stealing nobody children.
Thank you. Can you end this broadcast with something you'd like to make a shout out to CPS and also the mayor of Boston, please?
Boston has been running new slave trades by a different name and a different game through CPS and family court for a long time. Um, I met her working on the Justina Pelletier case, where they was kidnapping children and putting them in psychiatric hospitals, and it's all a new racket. And your days is numbered. People are becoming aware. Some people think, you know, they're going to educate themselves, they're going to investigate, and they're going to see that um, yeah, this can't continue. There's too many people speaking out. Give Shaughnessy back her son Jaguar, and in the name of God, give Shaughnessy back her son Jaguar,
And
and
thank you
she
for
will get
that.
her son back. And thank you, Rhoda, for having me.
Can you tell us your name once again?
It's Aaliyah,
And
A
how can
L
they
E
follow you?
ALEAHRN, and I'm on the social media platforms, and I run. You want me to tell the organizations I run?
Sure.
Because I don't want to disrespect it. Yeah,
No, no, no.
I
I'm
run
not
an
just like,
organ.
I did speak about that because we spoke before live came on. If anybody, like
Okay.
you have written books and stuff, and if you want to publish, your books to be out there, I'm more than willing to advertise your books for you. But we have to go through my
Okay.
management company first.
I will
And
I will
thank you.
go through your management company. I will support you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I have one organization that I started in 1996. It's called Heal Network Inc. And I have started free programs for children in Brooklyn, New York, and the Bronx because of the lack of funding we was receiving. This was back in 1996. And then as doing the children programs, you start seeing that the moms needs help. So then I started Heal Moms and Kids, and that's healmoms.com. And it helps mothers in all type of situation with resources, food, clothing, shelter. Like right now, she at a healing retreat. She's at the heal retreat with me. You understand? She was telling me all of the sabotage she was going through, and feeling just paranoid and alone and hopeless. So I have the healing retreat, and I do work behind the scenes. You may because of this work is dangerous. But yeah, healmoms.com, and you can find me on Aaliyah RN on most of the social media platforms. And if you know any mothers, especially Black moms, all moms, but especially Black moms that need help and assistance, let them know that they're not alone. It's a force that's working behind the scenes. I'm connected to a lot of people that don't tolerate this. They will come
And
get your
thank you
child.
guys for getting in contact with me with the Rhoda Young Live Show. We are out of
Okay.
time now. It was my pleasure meeting both of you, and we're praying for Jaguar that he do make it back home, and that they give you your baby back. It's not right that the
Yes.
state feel as though they could just come into your home and take your baby. Until we meet again, call me again if you get any updates so we can do another segment
Will.
on your
I
son
will.
when he get home. And I
Oh
trust
yeah,
and
definitely.
believe that he will be home soon.
Oh yes, very soon. More near than soon.
I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You
Okay,
too.
thank you. Snatch me.
Hello. Hello, doll.
You said you want. Yeah. You said they want to talk.
I was trying to be nosy behind the scene, guys. Y'all funny. Y'all was trying to be nosy too. We were trying to get the tea behind the scenes. Shoot. But anyway, guys, we're praying for Jaguar, and hopefully he'll get returned back to his mother as soon as possible. If anybody that know how to write up court documents and things like that, please get in contact with his mother to see if you can assist with her in writing the proper paperwork to the courts for her. She says she has all the documentation that she needs. She just don't know how to write it properly so that the courts will take her case serious. I am Rhoda Young Live. As you can see, guys, if you have a story that you want aired here on Rhoda Young Live Show, contact me once again at rhodayoungtv@gmail.com. Once again, contact me. Whether it's fictional or non-fictional, contact me and we'll sit here and listen to your story or your fairy tale. I'm Rhoda Young Live, where we were live, raw, and uncut. Before Wavy News 10, Channel 3, and also Channel 13 News, guys. We do have another broadcast coming this afternoon, around 6 o'clock this afternoon. The young lady's going to come in and share her story about the day she came home from school, elementary school, that is. And her mother, uncle, two sisters was found shot and some stabbed to death inside their home. She said since the governor Northern changed the state law about no more death penalties here in the state of Virginia, the murderer who murdered her mother and her sister and brother, her two sisters and her uncle, now is trying to appeal the courts to get out. She said, no, ain't no way you're getting out of jail. You killed my family and you're going to stay behind bars. I'm Rhoda Young Live. Rhoda Young Live. Rhoda Young Live. Tune back in at 6 o'clock.